A most beautiful and glorious and sacred welcome, precious soul, to the mystical ones from here on the earth. In this video, I will be sharing with you about another amazing mystical woman with a different element, different situation involved in her mystical ways. She traversed what many call the celestial heights of the moor in such remarkable ways. She is Saint Lydwine of Schiedam, Netherlands, which used to be called Holland. She was born in 1380 and died on Easter of April 14th, 1433. At an early age, she showed her deep devotion to God. Her family was poor, but they lived with the foundation of God's flowing love. Now, her different element or viewpoint, we could say, came from a bed. You see, soul of the moor, she was ice skating one day at 15 when someone knocked her down onto the ice by accident, and she broke a rib that abscessed and never healed and went from one complication to another. Then she could not walk except with a stick or crutch. And at around 20, she would be confined to her bed the rest of her life, which was till she was 53 years young. Rebels start to call her LW for short. LW prayed all the time. She had daily visions and was chosen to be a victim soul. A victim soul is a person who utilizes their suffering, their challenging events in life to give to God. It's like an energy transfer of pure love. Or missing the mark, others would say. And sin is a Greek word that is an archery term that means simply missing the mark. Rev sees LW's intimate relationship with Yeshua as a deep walk with the divine that is deep within her, and a very deep dive into who Yeshua truly is. And most wonderful souls never really get there. LW was so saturated with the glorious ways of the divine. Then Yeshua gave her the gift of the stigmata, his wounds, in addition to all her sores on her body and all of her other sufferings. These are ways to the depths of the mystical moor of Yeshua. So many precious souls cannot understand such depths, so they will judge and criticize. And Yeshua instructs us not to judge one another. And he taught us to remove the beam from our own eye before we remove the speck from someone else's eyes. Both of those are in his Sermon on the Mount. Divine love and action are amazing energies and ways to dwell in and walk in and breathe in, far from the world's ways for sure. Again, LW was saturated in the heavenly ways here in this 3D plane. She had the gift of prophecy and of reading of souls. Many important dignitaries would come to her for her prayers and her counsel. For example, one time a skeptical priest brought her an unconsecrated host, not blessed, and she immediately discerned that it was just bread. LW, from a certain point on, lived solely on the Holy Eucharist. The higher energies provided her the nutrition she needed from day to day. It's so much, so much more. One of her crosses she had to bear was dealing with routine stream of visitors every day, some who doubted her stigmata and her mystical ways. But seeing her bleed from the wounds, having their souls laid open to them by her insight and words, and the divine ways flowing from her and around her, they became believers, and their faith was deepened at its roots. Countless souls were healed at her bedside. LW, being in bed for 30 plus years, gives Rev the insight that sacred space of her and her bed, her bedroom, and all that she went through and offered was like a satellite office of the throne room, if you will, right there in her room. You know, like a satellite store usually is a smaller secondary glory location saturated with the divine ways that operates under a main central organization, heaven. It is designed to extend reach and improve customer service, if you will, and facilitate faster distribution to precious souls by being located closer to the souls who need them more in a given time and place. That was kind of fun. This has happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times to other people, but most of these chosen ones are not recognized here in the 3D ways, but are in the higher dimensions, let's say, well known. LW communicated daily with Yeshua and Mama Mary and the angels and the saints. This mystic suffered with joy in accepting anything Yeshua asked of her. She shared in his cross in deep and focused ways. Here's a popular sharing a story of her interactions with Yeshua and with his mama that took place one day. LW, the victim soul, asked Yeshua for the conversion of a notoriously immoral young man there in Schiedam. She had such transforming love for this young man to be radically changed. Yeshua replied that his grace was sufficient and that this person habitually rejected grace. He is sinning right now, Yeshua said. As we speak, he said. LW would not have no, N-O, for an answer for this precious soul. She wanted a special grace. She wanted his soul to be touched, and Yeshua refused. My justice will not allow it. She then started to complain. Look at what I suffer for souls, she said. I suffer your passion, all for you. I love you. Is your mercy not loving enough to win this wretched one back to grace? Yeshua would not be moved. My justice will not allow it. Enough now. If that is the case, LD protested, I will have a word with your mother, with Mama. Yeshua disappeared, and suddenly Mama Mary came and answered her prayer immediately. The young man came knocking at the door within seconds, asking the blessed saint to send for a priest. She sent for a priest, and this great sinner made a sincere confession in tears, and Mama will have her way. I've heard this from so many other mystical ones also. Let us say Rev has tried this backdoor approach with the Mama Mary path when I received a note from, you know who. Mama's amazing and so very mystical herself. Thank you, precious ones of the More, for being here with Rev and LW and the Holy Crew. You truly are a gift of the More, and there's even so much more for you. I appreciate your very presence here. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.